Community Life Project CLP, Justice Development and Peace Center, JDPC, Lagos, and Caritas Nigeria Interim Report on March 18, 2023 governorship and House of Assembly elections. Community Life Project CLP, ReclaimNaija, the Justice Development and Peace Center, Lagos, and Caritas Nigeria again deployed about 3,560 accredited election observers and hundreds of volunteer citizen observers across the country to observe the governorship and House of Assembly elections held on Saturday, March 18, 2023. Late arrival in most states, including Anambra, Imo, Ogun, Osun, Kano, Rivers, Edo, Kaduna, Lagos, to mention a few. In Lagos, materials arrived early in only about 46% of units observed, and there was a case in Zamfara where officials arrived at 3 p.m. Accreditation and voting process. In many of the polling units observed, there was a marked improvement in the conduct of INEC officials. Many tried to follow the election guidelines with respect to accreditation. The bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, was effectively used for the purpose of accreditation and voting across the country. There were isolated cases of BVAS malfunction in different parts of the country, including Delta, Imo, Oyo, Lagos, and Plateau states. 11% of our observers reported that the machine malfunctioned at some point in time or the other in Lagos. There were a couple of cases where the beavers carried the wrong information. For instance, in a unit in Imo State, the voter register in the beavers did not match the register for that unit. While in another unit in Plateau State, the beavers had the wrong dates. It had in it, instead of March 18th, it had February 25th. Generally, voting lasted between 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. and in some cases, voting was extended beyond 2:30 p.m. as a result of late opening of polls, large crowd of voters and beavers malfunction. Ballot counting extended into the night in some occasions, necessitating the use of cell phone lights. On the contrary, in some places, the situation was worse than in the previous election, particularly in Lagos, whereas in presidential elections, voting privacy was undermined by the presence of large crowds of voters. This time around, we observed instances where voter privacy was deliberately violated by thugs and party supporters who, in the full view of INEC officials and the police, were watching as people cast their votes in order to confirm that they voted for the ruling party in the state. This occurred in several parts of Lagos.
Violation of electoral guidelines. Vote buying. There were widespread incidents of vote buying all over the country. In Cross River, Ogun, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Faro, Lagos, Niger, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe states, among others. Beavers and ballot box snatching. Beavers machines were snatched by political thugs in places like Bayelsa, Benue, Edo, Lagos, and Rivers. There were also instances of ballot box snatching in Benue, Delta, Lagos, Niger, Ogun, and Rivers states. Voter suppression, intimidation, and violence. The election was preceded by days of serious intimidation of voters in several states. As a result, many voters chose to stay away from the polls for fear of being attacked. Though the election was peaceful and smooth in very many units across the country, there were serious incidents of violence and voter intimidation, especially in states like Akwa Ibom, Benue, Cross River, Delta, Imo, Kano, Lagos, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Rivers. For example, in Imo State, at the primary school, Azudo 2, Obinze, voters were threatened by thugs in connivance with security agents, thus denying voters access to the polling units. In Ogun State, in the polling units at Onijaba Palace, Ijaba, Shagamu, voters were forced to vote for a particular party, and those who refused were threatened. In Rivers, at Umewara Playground 1 and 2, voters were turned back if they would not give the assurance of voting a particular party. In Lagos, in places like Animosho, Ajeromi, Ifelodun, Amuwodofi, Etiosa, Ikeja, Ojo, and Oshodi, Isori, thugs invaded polling units, beating up voters, chased away those who would not vote for the ruling party, and injured many. Thus, many voters were disenfranchised, and electoral materials destroyed in a number of states. Abuse of office and misconduct of duty bearers. We observed abuse of office and gross misconduct on the part of duty bearers, including incumbent governors and other public officers, traditional rulers, and security personnel. In a number of states, duty bearers infringed on the rights of civil servants, citizens, and communities to freely exercise their franchise, using such tactics as threats and blackmail, and all this was done with impunity. Communities were openly threatened that development would be withheld from them if they voted for the opposition. The role of security personnel was mixed. Unarmed policemen were present in most polling units observed, and in some cases, armed policemen and soldiers patrolled some troubled spots. However, there were several reports indicating failure of security personnel to live up to their responsibilities. For instance, police failed to respond proactively to protect voters from intimidation, violence, and disenfranchisement. There were reports of soldiers impeding citizens' movement to their polling units. For instance, in Delta State, at La Road, Army checkpoint, opposite Ibori Golf Course, at Jesus State Road, and behind Army garrison, soldiers were preventing people from driving or walking to their polling units. While in Lekki, Lagos, soldiers were also stopping people on the express who were going to their polling units, including accredited election observers.
Presentation of the interim report for the 25th February election. They called me during that Saturday, was it Saturday or the day after, and told me or gave me a narration of the experience, the horrible experience he went through and he went through. He was beaten black and blue in the election compared to the presidential election on 25th of February. However, results were still not uploaded to the INEC portal in real time in a significant number of units
in Abia, Imo, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Lagos, and Ondo. Results were not uploaded in real time in 51% of the units observed. It's also worthy of note that a high percentage of result sheets have been uploaded to the area portal as of Monday, March 20th, 2023. For instance, 78.44% for Kano, 94.86% for Yobe, 83.85% for Rivers, 94.63% for Lagos, 79.03% for Niger, and 97.44% for Abia State. We also observed that in 67% of cases, the results were not entered into from ECCE and posted on the wall of the polling unit walls as required by the electoral guidelines and the electoral law. Credibility of the polls from our own viewpoint. An election is credible when it is free, meaning that everybody who is eligible to vote and be voted for is able to do so without hindrance. It's also fair, meaning that the rules of engagement are strictly adhered to by all players, contestants, voters, electoral umpire, and each vote is counted and awarded to the candidate it is meant for. And transparent, meaning that all their vote takes place openly for all to see, especially how the votes were tallied for the winners to emerge. For observation, the governorship and states of assembly election held on Saturday, March 18, 2023, does not seem to have met these conditions. As a matter of fact, they ran short of the conditions, for which reason so many people regard the elections as non-election elections. Major recommendations. First of all, INEC must be willing to submit itself to independent accountability process post-election and live up to its mandate as an institution funded with public funds. There will therefore be voter audit. The commission must be willing and seek to accomplish steps to investigate cases of gross violation of the electoral acts and guidelines and the constitution, whether by its staff, political actors, security personnel, or citizens, and ensure that the offenders are brought to book timelessly and expeditiously. CSOs should intensify efforts to engage bearers to provide sustainable policy solutions to identify gaps in the Nigerian electoral system. Finally, security agencies must investigate, arrest, and prosecute those who perpetrate violence against citizens and rid our society of political thought. Because whenever these infractions are not punished, it is just opening route for more to take place.
At the beginning of this election, we recorded a number of youth participation. We saw that a number of people within the age brackets of the young population were more interested in the electoral process. And we saw it reflect in the number of PVC registration. And I think for this year, we had about 3.8 million registered voters. But this did not translate into the number of people that voted. And I think the number even kept reducing from the presidential to governorship. So how did we move from youth being interested and willing to participate and willing to vote in the election?
From my own observation, from what I saw it from 2 points. On one side, we had some citizens, some Nigerians, intimidating others, harassing other fellow Nigerians, which ended up preventing them from going out to cast their ballots. On the other hand, we also had some set of Nigerians that, despite the intimidation, that because of the intimidation, they succumbed and stayed back, which is what we saw, what led largely to the low voter turnout.
How can we avoid this violence, both in presidential election and governorship election? How can we avoid this violence? Because other years too, this same thing happened, but this year was extremely something else. But in other years, like in the next 4 years, how can we avoid violence in this country?
I should be part of this system. Nobody should chicken me out. Nobody should intimidate me. I must be part of this system. So what do we do? Now there should also be an audit of the voter register. The voter register that claimed we have more youths involved, 90-something% or 90-something million, I think it's around 94 million, and we're told about 88 million collected PVC. And we saw the interest, like every other person. I saw it. I expected that we should be talking about 50 million plus. But on the average, the presidential election was about 24 million. I'm sure the governorship elections will be way less than that. So I think the problem might not be, especially with regards to the presidential, that people didn't turn up. I think the problem now will have to be how pure, how up to date is INEC's register. I think we might need to interrogate that register further. It's likely that the number of registered voters is probably just 50 million. It's possible. Or less even. And then they tell us it is 94 million. And how does that translate? So I think that some of these things we need to begin to interrogate them.